Good morning, students. Hello, good morning, students. The screen is visible.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, good morning, students. Today, our topic is what are the objectives of cost, volume, profit analysis, and what is the cost in a short run and long run, and what are the different costs occur in a short run and long run. So, in the last class, we discussed about what is the break-even analysis, what is the break-even chart, and what are the costs in a short run with the help of a different type of the graphs. Now, today class, I explained about what are the objectives of a or what is the behavior of a cost in a short run. So, in general, average total cost is equal to average variable cost plus average fixed cost. Average total cost means that is the average of variable cost plus average of fixed cost. It is nearer to average fixed cost at initial stage because the higher average fixed cost at initial levels of output has greater influence on average total cost. That is in the behavior of a cost in a short run. Behavior of cost in short run, average total cost is equal to average variable cost plus average fixed cost. So, because the higher average fixed cost at initial level of output has a greater influence on average total cost. As output increases, the average fixed cost decreases. As output increases, average fixed cost decreases, but average total cost increases and the influence of average fixed cost decline. So that means it is clear now that the average fixed cost, then generally the fixed cost decreases by increasing in quantity of output. The average fixed cost decreases by increasing in quantity of output. So that means that is if you compare the total cost also decreases, that is by increasing the output quantity. Output increases, average fixed cost decreases, but average total cost increases and the influence of average fixed cost decline. Average total cost curve never touches average fixed cost or marginal cost. If you observe the cost in a short run curve, if you observe the cost in a short run, that is the average fixed cost, that is average total cost never touches the average fixed cost or marginal cost curve, and the marginal cost curve is also U-shaped. It falls, if you observe the marginal cost, it falls in beginning and rises through minimum points of average variable cost at R and minimum point of average total cost at S. That is the margin. If you observe the shape of a marginal cost in a graph, it is in U-shaped curve. It falls in beginning. When you observe, it falls in beginning and rises through minimum point of average variable cost at R and minimum point of the average total cost at S. So if you observe, the marginal cost is less than average cost when average variable cost is falling, and as well as the marginal cost is greater than average cost when average variable cost is rising. That is when the marginal cost is less than average cost when average variable cost is falling, and the marginal cost is greater than average cost when average variable cost is rising. So totally average cost is equal to marginal cost when average cost and marginal cost are constant. In short run, the variable cost is variable. If you observe the variable cost in a short run, that is a variable cost also variable. So cost in a long run. So next topic is what are the cost or what are the changes in a cost in long run, or what are the different type of the cost included in a long run or long run. In general, we know about the long run. Long run means that is a more than 1 year. They are from 2 to 10 years period is called as a long run. So in this long run, there are different type of changes are occur, like as a changing technology. The technology changes, and at the same time there is a different type of changes are changing fashions, trends, and the company, that is it invests the amount in the organization, that means it expands the investment, or it expands the capital. So this type of changes are occur in a long run. In long run, all factors are variable. All factors are variable. Long run is also expressed as a series of short runs. That is, a long run is, that is, it is expressed as a series of short run. That is, if you observe the long run, that is the every short run, that is a combination. If you, for example, if you take as a 10 years period, long run period as a 10 years period. So each year, 1 year is called as a short run. So the combination of 10 short run periods is the equal to one long run. So this long run is expressed as a series of short runs. Every short run average cost curve is associated with a short run. That means, for example, if you take as a 2019, so 2019 short run period or the curve, it is associated with at the ending in a 2020. So like that, that is every short run average cost curve is associated with a another short run average cost curve. And the long run is associated with a series of short run average cost curve. That is the long run, that is, it is associated with all the short run average cost curves. Long run average cost curve is U-shaped, enveloping a series of short run average cost curve. So that is, it is clear by the help of the graph. If you observe the graph, these are the different short runs. That is the first year, second year, third year. So these are the different short runs. So the combination of the association of these all short runs is give as a long run. So that is, it is clear by that. This is clear. So the line which is touching all the small U-shaped curves. That is there are small U-shaped curves and they are associated with each other. And the line which is below the is U-shaped curves. So like as that is the half of the circle like line is appear. So this is called as a long run cost curve. Long run average cost curve. So that is long run average cost curve is also a U-shape, it is envelop a series of short run average cost curves. It is tangential to all short run average costs. The point of tangency represents minimum average cost in long run and not in short run. It is tangential to all short run average cost curves. The point of tangency represents minimum average cost in long run, not in short run. That is, if you observe the points of tangency, that is, it is expressed, that is the point where the long run, where one cost curve touches or intersect with other curve. So that point is called as a tangency point. For if you observe the P or these are the tangency points. So these tangency points represents, that is, in long run the average cost curve decreases only in long run, not in the short run. In long run, the average cost decreases and not in short run. Why? Long run and short run average cost are equal to a particular point of tangency. Each short run average cost is operating curve. We know about short run cost, average cost curve is called as a operating curve because in a short run different type of changes are, that is the increasing of production or decreasing of production, so and increasing of labor cost or decreasing of labor cost. So this type of simple operating changes are occur. So these are so short run average cost curve is called as a operating curve, which decides present production level. That means it is decide only present production level. And the long run average cost curve is called as a planning curve. Why this is called as a planning curve? Because that is in a long run it decides about that is the what type of changes are occur. That means the increasing of a capital or decreasing of capital, company expansion. So these type of the all activities are occur in a long run. So if you observe the long run cost curve, this is the long run cost curve. In long run average cost curve, the long run average cost curve is the relationship between the lowest attainable average total cost and output. Lowest attainable average total cost and output, when both the plant size and labor are varied. It tells about the relationship between lowest attainable average total cost and output. The long run average cost curve is a planning curve that tells the firms, the company, the plant size that minimize the cost of producing a given output range. Cost of given output range. So this is the long run average cost curve and short run average cost curve. So this is the long run average cost curve is a planning curve, as the long run demand is considered before deciding right size of a plant. Before deciding right size of a plant. U shape implies the cost of production continues to be low till the firm reaches the optimum scale. That means the marginal cost is equal to average cost. Beyond this level, cost of production increases. Beyond this level, cost of production increases. In the beginning, firm releases all inputs and enjoy increasing returns to scale. In the beginning, that is, the firm is ready to release all inputs. Inputs means raw material, that is, give more raw material to the organization, excess labor. So this type of activities are occur in a short run in the beginning. So by giving this type of the inputs more, that is, by giving more and more inputs, the output quantity also increases. So that is the company enjoys increasing returns to scale. So by giving this inputs more and more, the cost per unit also decreases. Cost per unit decreases. So that is, this is the long run average cost curve in a, that is the long run average cost curve in a long run. Beyond that is the U shape implies the cost of production continues to be low till the firm reaches the optimum scale of production. So that means the marginal cost is equal to average cost. Beyond this level, cost of production will increases. In the beginning, the firm releases more and more inputs, and the company enjoys increasing returns to scale. So that at the same time, that is the cost per unit also decreases. After some time, long run average cost reaches its minimum, beyond which the output increases at declining rate. The output increases at declining rate. This indicates diseconomies of scale. That is after reaching the certain level. So this is the law of diminishing returns, or law of, that is the one variable input factor. So if you observe the one variable input factor in the beginning, if you give more and more input, that is the quantity of output also increases and the returns to the company also increases. But by giving more and more, that is after reaching a certain level, that is the returns to scale increases but at a decreasing rate. And at the final stage, that is the returns are declining. So that like that, after some time, long run average cost curve reaches its minimum, beyond which the output increases at declining rate. This indicates that is a diseconomies of scale. Suppose the firm produces OX1 units of output on a SAC1. That means short run average cost curve. That is, if you observe this, this example is by the help of this graph. This example is by the help of this graph. That is for producing the particular quantity of output. So these are the, on x-axis we take as a output, on a y-axis as a cost, average cost. Suppose a firm produces OX1 units of output on short run average cost 1 plant. If it wants to produces OX2 units, that is the, if you want to increase the quantity of output, it either operates short run average cost 1 by overutilizing or acquiring bigger size plant, short run average cost curve 2. That is, it has an option, that is for producing OX2 units of output. It uses the same short run average cost plant 1, or and by acquiring bigger size plant as a short run average cost curve 2. It is less costly on short run average cost 2 if it wants to produces OX3. That is, if the company wants to produces OX3 units, it can operate short run average cost curve 3 at least cost. At least cost X3A3 is the least cost output. If it operates shorten average cost curve 2 for production OX3, cost will be prohibitively high being X3A33. There is with the help of this graph, it tells about that is the plants want for producing a OX units of OX1 units of output. It uses the plant SAC1 and it wants that is to increasing the quantity as it wants to produce OX2. It uses SAC2, but it is less costly on SAC2. If it wants to produce OX3, it can operate SAC3. At least cost X3, A3 is a least cost output. If it operates SAC2 for OX3, cost will be high. That means if you observe the short run average cost curves, so this is the first one is a small curve. For producing OX1 unit, you use SAC1. For producing OX2 units, you use SAC2. That is the least cost combination means that is if you observe that is a broken lines. That is a broken line or dot lines. So dot lines represents a particular tangency point and it gives a least cost. Beyond this point, that means for producing X1 units, if you use SAC2, it gives the highest cost of production. For producing X3 units, you use SAC3 plant, or if you want to produce X2 units, you use SAC2 plants. And for this, that is to use these dotted lines. That is for this dotted line expresses the least cost combination. Only one short-run average cost 3 is tangential to long-run average cost at its minimum point. Long-run average cost is of greater utility for entrepreneur to make expansion decision. That is, this long-run average cost is of great utility for entrepreneurs to make expansion decision. So this is about long-run average cost by the help of a graph. So what is the optimum size of the farm? The optimum size of the farm, the condition that produced best result wherein the farm maximizes the profit per unit at a minimum average cost, that is called as a optimum size of the farm. That means a condition that produced best result wherein the farm maximizes the profit per unit at a minimum average cost. A farm can achieve optimum size in long run. Optimum size in long run only when its long run average cost is lowest. In short run, it can only ensure optimum utilization of given plant. It is in short run only. It has an option that is to ensure a optimum utilization of a given plant. A farm can achieve optimum size in long run only when its long run average cost is lowest. What are the significance of break-even analysis? So that is, if in today class we observe about what is a break-even analysis and what is a break-even chart. So break-even analysis means that is a break-even point. It is explained about a break-even point, and in a broad sense, that is it tells about that is how to maximize the profit with the help of different activities. So what are the significance of break-even analysis? The main significance of break-even analysis is to calculate sales required to earn desired profit. To calculate what is the sales required to earn desired profit. For example, if you produce 10,000 units, so what is the profit to the company? Or if the company wants that is to earn 1 lakh rupees per year, so what quantity to be produced? That is, if the company wants, that is its profit target is 1 lakh, 2 lakh or 3 lakh. So depending upon its profit, what is the quantity of sales? That means what is the quantity of production is to be targeted. So the type of the requirements, that is to use the break-even analysis. And second one, that is to compare the efficiency of different firms. That is for comparing the efficiencies of different firms. The break-even analysis is very useful for comparing the efficiencies of different firms. Next one, that is to decide make or buy spare parts. So make or buy decisions, that is the best preference of break-even analysis is make or buy decision. Make or buy means that is each company has two types of actions, that is to purchase the raw material from outside or to produce or to manufacture the raw materials by their own. I told the best example for this is a car, that is for car manufacturing. Most of the company you purchase the spare parts from different companies and they assembled the car. And some companies are ready, that is they purchase, that is they produce the spare parts in their own company and they are ready to assemble the parts. So this is that is if the company is ready to manufacture their own spare parts, raw materials in the company, that is called as a make decision. And if the company is ready, that is to purchase the raw materials or a spare parts from a other company, so that is called as a buy decision. So this make or buy decision is, that is depending upon the quantity, that is if the company produces more quantity, so generally that is it is preferable to manufacture the raw material by by their own. Or if the company produces the less quantity of output, that is to give preference, that is to manufacture, that is to purchase the raw material from outside, that is it is also avoid some type of risks. So for this make or buy decision, that is we use break-even analysis. So next significance of break-even analysis is to decide what promotion mix will yield optimum sales. What promotion mix will yield optimum sales, for increasing the sales or the optimum sales, that is what production mix is suitable to the company. Next significance of break-even analysis is to compare product lines, sales area and methods of sales. To compare product lines, sales area and methods of sales, which method of sales is useful to the company and which area gives more beneficial to the organization. So for this comparing, we use the break-even analysis. And next significance of break-even analysis is to ascertain profit on sales or given capacity of production. To ascertain profit on sales or given capacity of production. And next, last one is that is to assess the impact of changes in cost, fixed cost, variable cost or selling price on break-even point. To assess the impact of changes in fixed cost, variable cost or selling price on break-even point. On break-even point. So these are the different significance of a break-even analysis. Are the first one, that is to calculate sales required to earn desired profit, to compare the efficiency of different firms, to decide make or buy spare parts, to decide what promotion mix will yield optimum sales, to compare product line, sales area and methods of sale, to ascertain profit on sales or given capacity of production. We assess the impact of changes in fixed variable cost or selling price on break-even point. And next of all, that is the like other methods, the break-even point method are also containing some limitations. So what are the limitations? First of all, what is break-even point? Break-even point means that is the point which tells about what quantity gives no profit and no loss. It tells about the point, that is which is gives no profit and no loss point, and which is helpful to the company to survive in the competitive environment in a long run. So what are the limitations? It is based on fixed cost, total revenue, variable cost. It is generally based on, that is fixed cost, total revenue and variable cost, because break-even point is calculated by the help of a fixed cost, variable cost and total revenue. A change in one variable is affect the break-even point. That means if small changes occur in a variable cost or a fixed cost or a total revenue, so automatically it is affected on a break-even point. So that is one of the limitation of a break-even point. Next one is the costs are not fixed and variable cost. Sometimes costs are also occur. That is in general, that is break-even point considered only fixed cost and variable cost. But sometimes other costs are occur to the organization. For example, explicit cost, implicit cost, book cost, sunk cost. So these are the different type of the cost. which are not considered in a break-even point analysis. So that is one of the limitation of a break-even point. It is based on fixed cost concept. So it holds good only in short run. It is mainly depends upon a fixed cost concept. So that is the fixed cost. Fixed cost is generally it is helpful for calculating in a short run. So it holds good only in short run. And next limitation of a break-even point is if business conditions are volatile, it cannot give stable results. If business conditions are volatile, it cannot give stable results. And the last limitation of a break-even point is the quantity and price discounts affect the total revenue. So total cost and total revenue are not always in a straight line. The quantity and price discounts, if you give any quantity or price discounts, it affects on total revenue. That means if you decrease the price of the product or if you decrease the sales of the product quantity, so automatically it affects on a total revenue which is incurred to the company. So total cost and total revenues are not always straight line. So that is by this reason, in general, always the total cost and total revenues are not in straight line. So this is the one of the limitations. If you observe the limitations of a break-even point is based on fixed cost and variable cost and total revenue. So by the small effect on in any of this, automatically it affects on break-even point. And in the break-even point, cost are that is it considered only, it give importance only for fixed and variable cost, but some type of explicit and implicit cost are occur to the organizations. It is based on fixed cost concept, so that is it give good results only in short run. If business conditions are volatile, it cannot give stable results. If the quantity and price discounts are affect the total revenue, so that is total revenue and total cost are not always in a straight line. So this is the break-even point and break-even analysis, and the different, and what is the plant position in a short run and a long run, and what is the optimum size of the farm which is suitable to the organization. So these are the different topics. So by this topic, the second unit is completed. The second unit is completed. In the second unit, that is we discussed about what is the different type of production functions as a Cobb-Douglas Leontief production functions, and what are the different type of different variable factors like as a one variable input factors, two variable input factors, and multiple variable input factors. And as well as we discuss about what are the different type of production techniques. Different type of production techniques are like as a, that is the isoquant, isocost, and least cost combination. So these are the different type of production techniques which gives lowest cost to the producer. And next in that second unit, we also discuss about what are the different type of cost concepts. Cost concepts means that is what are the different type of cost incurred to the organization as a explicit, implicit, book cost. So these are the different type of cost concepts. So last one we discuss about what is a break-even analysis and what is a break-even point, and what are the different type of the cost occur in a short run and long run. So what is the optimum size of the farm in a long run and short run. So these are the different topics in a second unit. So now in the next class, we are going to discuss about the third unit as a what are the markets. What are the different type of the markets.